still laughing about my joke 10 minutes ago, man.
You're a very funny individual.
I know, right? Oh my god. I know. People say that all the time.
Yeah. You look really funny too.
You
seem
my
funny.
Mom keeps saying that. I don't know why.
No, she says you're special. That's different.
That's even worse. We thought it would be interesting to speak a bit about how we learn. I mean, we touched it in the initial episodes where we said how we got into this and what we did to do this. Thanks. Yeah. But I think it'd be important to see how do you learn? How did you learn these things that you know? And how do you still learn today? What gives you knowledge these days? Because you're both fully working, and I think like a lot of people, we don't just stop learning. Like in this industry, everybody.
No, I think this is key. I think like
it's an industry that evolves very quickly.
Yeah.
So you have to be on.
And I think this statement is true and valid for like almost everything, creative related, but also marketing.
Even not even creative.
Yeah,
only,
everything like
a lot of things.
You need to. Things are moving so fast nowadays that you really need to hone into your craft and like improve your skill set and like understand what's going on in the industry. Yeah,
especially in our world today that moves so quickly and
that's
evolves
insane.
So quickly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think that's the main reason why we have to.
Yeah,
because it used to be our parents probably worked, or our grandparents probably worked 40 years for the same company.
Exactly.
And that was really well respected. And if you change the company all the time and your work spot, like where you work, then it would be like, this probably got this guy or this girl is probably not usable.
So in terms of like where I learned stuff, like the base, I think I learned like a long time ago when I think we talked about everything like in the first episodes, but I started editing and filming when I was in high school, so like 2007, and the whole concept behind like an NLE, like editing software, kind of remains the same, to be honest, like from back then to now. It's just like,
what did you start editing on?
Final Cut.
Yeah
I started on Final Cut. I really liked it. I really disliked Premiere for like the longest time.
Did it exist back then already?
Yeah.
2007?
Yeah.
Premiere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Why'd you dislike it?
I just didn't really like Adobe, and I was editing on Mac, and Final Cut was made by Apple, so I was like, this is probably the best.
Makes
and
sense.
I didn't know better. And like back in the days, oh my God, I feel like I sound like I'm 55, but like in 07, we didn't have like internet was not as packed with like content you can consume to like learn stuff. You would basically go on forums, and if you were encountering any issues, you would maybe, instead of taking like 5 minutes to Google and like figure out, it would take you weeks at a time sometimes. So yeah, I was not really exposed to like anything else than Final Cut, and I was like niching down to like Final Cut in terms of like the forums I was like visiting and stuff. And then filming is just, I think I had the chance to have a camera in my hands pretty early, and I would just like evolve through it. I had no idea when I first started about the 180 degree rule, how shutter speed was influencing the image. I was just shooting. And since I started filming mainly skateboards, I was heavily influenced by all the skateboard videos that were coming out at the time, especially
YouTube.
Not YouTube.
When 2012 YouTube came up, right?
Yeah, 2000. But I started skateboarding in 2002.
So where did you see all these YouTube?
I was buying DVDs.
Videos? Oh shit!
And I was
it's these round things that you could put in.
The one that the people put on scarecrows in the fields now to scare off the birds. But and I was also ripping them off the internet on the IRC. But I think it's been some time, so I think I'm not legally.
I think it's enough grass has come over it, has grown over it.
But I was heavily influenced by this, especially like Thai events, who still is, I think, one of the best cinematographers.
Who?
Thai events. He essentially changed the game when it comes to skateboard videos, because like when skateboard videos first started, they were like really amateur-ish looking, VHS. Like it was really sketchy.
Camcorder stuff.
And then Thai events. And I think when it first started, when a video called Yeah Right by a company called Girl Skateboarding came out. I think he brought dollies, cranes, and sliders, and like really high frame rate cameras and stuff like this to skateboard videos. So he was giving a lot of this high production value to skateboard videos, which were originally just like videos shot on like the high 8 dad cam that like the dad of like one of the kids had. So I was really influenced. And like Spike Jonze, I don't know if you've heard of him. He was an executive producer on all these skateboard videos and stuff, and you can feel like the vibe behind it. They were trying to bring, of course, you had all the performances of the skateboarders, but you also had short films in the middle. You know,
he shot kids, no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I was really impressed when I heard that. These are basically like really skateboard kids. They're not actors, nothing.
Oh, yeah?
It's just random kids from the street that he knew from skateboarding.
That's cool. But no, I really love Spike Jonze. And so I basically was watching a lot of these tapes, and I was trying to recreate that with my friends, trying to understand how the focal length were working, because you had the zoom lens and like understanding and stuff. And like...
how did you learn? Did you learn like by yourself? Did you have like a mentor? Did you have somebody explaining it to you?
No, I learned.
Did you just try out and
I tried out, trial and errors. This is what I did, and I was shooting a lot, because like basically I was in high school. Like the only thing I did was like go skateboard, and then I would go to school, go skateboard, and go to bed. So and I think I mentioned it, I was not really good at skateboarding. So I was like basically...
You were the guy with the camera.
Yeah, I was the guy with the camera. So I was like shooting people and like trying to understand like frame rates. To me, like back in the days, like understanding what 50p meant or like 25p, I didn't really understand, but I understood it had a huge impact on the image, and I was really trying to figure out. And
how old were you then?
Probably like 17.
Okay.
Maybe 16, 17. I started shooting pretty when I was 15. But and then watching all these videos, I really started to like try to understand and trying by learning essentially.
But there were no like behind the scenes. There were no one explaining.
I mean, but they were maybe not available in Switzerland, so you had to like go through like bootlegs versions of the videos. There were like super bad compression, and it was hard. And then after that, I kept on doing this. I kept on editing a little bit, and when I went back into the filmmaking world and stuff, this is when I actually started to I think refine a little bit what I was doing.
Right.
Especially in terms of camera operation, because I think editing was like if you look at After Effects or like Premiere, the main concepts are the same like 15 years ago as they're now. Everything is just simpler now.
Better user interface.
Everything's faster, and like you have some stuff like rotoscoping, for instance. Like 15 years ago, you would, I don't know, your computer would explode if you were to like try to rotoscope something. Now you can just like almost auto select something. But I think like when it comes to camera operation, how I did it is like internet, YouTube. This is because I've always been really interested in the image, so I was trying to understand how people were achieving certain looks. Yeah. And this is how you can try to navigate and like trying to find your own style, I think.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And this basically is a never-ending process, because like when I first started, you know, for instance, maybe I was just used to shooting by myself, but then I started shooting with other people, and I had to understand how wireless video was working, how follow focuses were working, how to do stuff.
But at this point, there was stuff online then, huh?
Yeah,
that was
of course. Then, that was much later. And this was much easier for me, because I would just be like, okay, for the next shoot, I know that I have like, I don't know, I'll have to have someone pulling focus for me. And then I would need to understand how to put a full focus on the camera, how it works. Like you need like a focusing ring and stuff like this. And every shoot like you do, you learn new stuff.
Something comes added to it, and you need to learn it.
But even nowadays, to be honest, even I've had my fair share of shoots, but every nowadays, like maybe all of a sudden you find a solution for something that's been bothering you for years, and okay, this is how I do it, and then you always improve on this. But yeah, 100%. YouTube has been like the best. Arguably, like YouTube has
created more filmmakers and photographers than any like. Oh, sorry.
100%. Thanks, bro. No, I can use it for later. No problem.
More filmmakers and photographers than any film schools or photo school like out there.
Yeah.
Because like everybody, it's so easily accessible.
100%. And it's free.
It's
That's
free.
the crazy thing.
Yeah. And you, how did you? Because like, if I remember correctly, you first were introduced to filmmaking through your high school diploma project.
Mm-hmm.
Where you shot like a documentary,
Yeah.
Interviewing people, and how did you? Because like, if I remember correctly from like the first episodes we shot, you didn't really know what you were doing, but you were doing it correctly almost from the get-go.
Some things I would do completely wrong, but a lot of things, surprisingly, turned out really like the right way. I would still do it the same way, just with more knowledge, better and more efficient probably, but I would still, do the same things.
Did you have someone like explain everything to you, or
No. I was I was probably a bit older than you, and I was like 19, I think. Yeah, pretty much. I was 19. It's actually not too long. It's 2017.
Yeah.
I was 19 then. No, actually it was 20. No, hold on. Yes, I was 19. It was 2016. I was 19 years old, and I wanted to do this documentary, and I had no clue. Like I mentioned, I had one camera, and YouTube was around already, and a lot of content was out there, and a lot of things I learned then. But funnily enough, I only started really getting into it after the documentary. Some specific things, especially for Premiere Pro, I edited on Premiere Pro. A lot of things like shortcuts and how to edit, how to import, I learned all that on YouTube. Nobody was able to tell me. And I also didn't look for people to tell me. Just because, I don't know, I had... Like my family has nothing to do with film. I don't know anything in my relatives or friends that worked in this whatsoever. So it never crossed my mind to like be like, oh, this guy, that's the guy to ask. Or that's she knows. And so I just started on YouTube with the editing only. But for shooting, I only did what I saw on TV and films.
Oh, so you basically tried to replicate what you were saying on TV?
Well, kind of, because I shot, like we talked about this. I shot interviews kind of in the
third
rule of third, and have them look inward, not outward. And I never knew this was a rule. I just knew I had seen all this all the time, and I just replicated it. I just did what I saw.
I've seen so many interviews of people looking outwards. It's so weird. Or like,
artistically, they just chose...
I don't think so. I think it's just a mess up. Or like having two cameras and like they don't look at the same angle because like they look
in the same direction basically, so they both look out from each other.
No. Yeah, they look exactly in both directions. So it seems like it's two people talking to each other.
Okay.
You have the close up like this, and then the
one person.
One person. One person.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that was just like a tangent to.
Anyway, and stuff like that. Yeah. I didn't do wrong, funny enough, on that first thing, and I didn't seek any information for shooting.
Yeah.
Maybe just tech, like what frame rate to shoot.
Yeah.
25, stuff like that. Maybe that I checked that. I'm sure I did, because I wouldn't just know. But other than that, everything just I did, and some things I was like, oh, this was shit, and some things turned out really good. I didn't use any light, nothing, because I didn't know anything about light. And I think after that, when I noticed, oh shit, I really like doing that, I started going on YouTube and like figuring stuff out and getting more serious, buying a camera and blah 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 blah. And then most part came from YouTube, like a big part. And then from my internship.
Is it from like one specific creator on YouTube, or did you just watch a bunch of different people?
Thinking. No, it was very mixed.
Okay.
There was a lot of them. I would love to name them, but
no, I'm just asking because like some people.
No, it was like a bunch. I would be very specific. Like I want to find out how to, like I would always look for. I wouldn't just watch what's around.
Yeah.
I would always be like, oh, I want to do this. How do I do this?
Yeah.
And then like any video that came up that was promising, I would watch and do that. And what I did, I don't use it these days anymore, but I used it for a long time. I had a notebook.
Yeah.
And when I Googled or like YouTubed, I guess you can say that, one thing more than once, like for example, how to time warp in Premiere, if I did that more than once, then I would start to write it down in my notebook. Because I was so tired of typing it in, finding the right video, scrubbing through to the right moment, that I just wrote down like the way I would write it down. So if I look at it, I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And I started writing down like step 1, get it together. Step 2, change speed, same stuff like that. Keyframe, blah, blah, blah. And that way, if every time I had to do this, I knew like my notebook, I would look for the page. Okay, step 1, it saved me so much time.
Yeah.
And I did that for everything. I wrote down on my camera like the different frame rates I had and the crops, so I could just check there and didn't have to Google, because I don't know, I might be on a shoot and don't have internet, so I want to have this book. Like that's my master book.
Do you still have it?
I still have it, but I don't use it that much anymore.
Because like you basically know.
I know everything.
Yeah.
No, but
how do you time warp?
Huh?
How do time warp?
Yeah. Wow. How, bro?
I don't know.
No, most things then like came, but still these days like new things come at it, and especially like technical thing, editing, as I'm not editing that much anymore. A lot of things I have to like look up, like what, how does that thing again, that equalizer work again? Like what exactly? And I have to look it up. So I'm probably gonna start doing this again because I really like it. I just have to update it with new stuff that I like use these days, because the old stuff I mostly know now. And that really helped me. And I had this book everywhere, and people would be so impressed because I even like I printed out like tables for like I don't know, like cheat my sheets. Camera. Cheat sheets, exactly. And I would print them out, cut them out, and glue them in and stuff like that.
And now
I have to bring it one time. I'll show it.
For sure. You should bring it. That'd be fun. But do you agree with the fact that it's a never-ending thing? Like you can
100%,
learn.
100%.
So now, how do you approach? Because like I think you have the basics covered essentially to a certain extent for camera operations and stuff. But do you find yourself before shoots, when you have like specific maybe equipment that you don't necessarily know how to operate properly and stuff? Yeah. Do you find yourself like trying to YouTube or like do tests beforehand a lot, or do you just like wing it? Oh, stop footing. Oh, jeez.
I put my feet on the right side. This is your side. This is my
that's
side.
my side. Cool.
I tried to do this, but then you chose the same side, so I think you wanna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's stop the cameras here. It's the right sound.
Yeah.
No. Where was I? I think, like, I noticed at some point I just didn't find the things I was looking for in YouTube anymore, because it, like you said, kind of the basics are covered, and you're looking for very specific things. And I noticed like I wouldn't find that stuff anymore. Or every time a new video would come out from like something I'm interested, it would just to be the basics that I've heard over and over again. So I tried to just try out more. Like I didn't do that enough when I was in the beginning. I try to do that now more, just trying out more stuff that I like and that I think could be interesting. Yeah. Because you can only learn so much from YouTube you just have to try yourself sometimes. Especially
when you get to like, if we talk about gear, for instance, especially when you get to like the really high end, or like not really high end, but like more professional, less consumer oriented type of gear, then the resources on YouTube is kind of scarce. And even though I found a few channels that have really kind of like high end stuff, probably like rental companies that just show cool channels, how do you back focus the red, how do you mount like X on the Alexa Mini and stuff.
Yeah. Where was I? And I think when it comes like the technical part, you can figure out a lot, but when it comes to artistic things or things that you like and that we would like to do specific, because you get more professional and you're more specific with what you're trying to do, then it's harder to find. So I think that's a big part, like trying out now.
For sure.
Yeah, because the resources aren't out there. And also I think what I'm not doing enough, what I would like to do, and I would love to hear your opinion on that, is having mentors. Like people that you look up to that are somewhere that you might want to be, or that do things that you might want to do as well. Like I think these days a lot of people are like kind of like they don't want to have that. They don't want to ask other people because there is so much resource out there, and they like me, they start out with these online resources.
Yeah.
And I think mentors are really, that's where the best people come out of having mentors and having like these crazy people that they can work for and learn from.
Just to circle back to what you were saying too, I think all the technical stuff, you can probably find a lot of stuff, but when it comes to artistic choices, then this is where there are basically no resources anywhere in the world. And even I would argue like no one in the world would be better suited than you are to answer your own questions when it comes to artistic choices.
It's just a longer way.
It's a longer way.
And we tend to get the easy way.
I don't know if you've experienced the same, but when I first started, I was really anxious not to make any mistakes in terms of how things should be done. And, you know, I was really trying to respect the proper way to do things, that like the proper as in like what most people would do it. But as I grow older and I grow further in this profession, I find myself just like, fuck it, let's just do it the way I think I should do it. I don't give a crap about like what the other people are doing.
You have more confidence in yourself.
You have more confidence because you understand like all the repercussions and all the, you know, the downsides of stuff. Like when you do something, you understand how it might affect post-production, it might affect this. And I find it pretty interesting because when you first start, you really listen to like every words like YouTubers said.
Because you don't know better. That's all you know, and then try this.
Yeah, and as you progress and as you experience, as you fuck up some stuff, then you start.
A big part for me was just like, as I go, that's not like a one-time moment where I just realized that, but it's just as I learned, it's just people don't have it figured out. No, we tend to like at the beginning, especially I tended to like think, oh shit, this guy, this person,
he knows what's up.
She knows. He knows. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And man, if you like get on bigger sets and get to talk to other people that you think or you used to think they made it and they know everything and they have it figured out. Oh man.
Nope.
No way.
But I think like you have this feeling when you go on bigger sets, because I think the main difference between not entry level, but like people with experience and people with less experience is the prep time. People with more experience will value the prep time a lot more than people with less experience.
Mm-hmm. They know how important it is. Yeah.
They know how important it is. So you might go on set and you see the DP. If you're not DPing, you see the DP being like really confident on what he's doing. Like, okay, we put the camera here. We do this. We do that. We light like this. But maybe it took him like, I don't know, 3 weeks of pre-production to narrow down all the smallest details with the direct, like the agency and whatnot, to make sure everything is fine. And basically you're on set and it's just
after this work has been done,
you've rehearsed everything. So you're on set and it's just like, if we go back to the football like sport references, you've practiced enough, like you just have to execute now. And there's no surprises because like everything,
the work is being put in before.
Yeah, of course there are sometimes you have some some stuff that will go bad on sets, most likely on all sets, but the more prepared you are, the easier everything is gonna be. And I think this is something that's taking a long time to understand. At least for me, it took me a long time to understand. And some agencies and stuff, they don't understand this at all. I've had people working with other people, like not really planning all the shots, not planning the light, not planning the stuff, and then you find yourself on set trying to like solve problems more than just executing and like respecting.
That could have been solved before.
That could have been just like, okay, so we have X amount of shots, we do this, exactly. and that's it.
And I also think you said like this person being around, being like the camera here, this. I also think it is the experience that lets that person decide that quickly, even if they didn't prepare.
Oh, for sure.
Because they know, look, if everything goes down, we do the basics. Like we always keep saying, like, shoot in that direction, don't
shadow
shoot,
side.
It's
Don't.
They know what works basically.
Yeah.
And if everything goes down, just do the basics, and that experience lets them look like they have it all figured out.
Yeah. But we jokingly always talk about the L of the room and stuff. But the more I work in this field, the more I watch commercials and stuff, the more I realize like almost all everything.
Everything.
It's the same thing for.
And if it's not for once, then it's like, oh, something's different. Something's
Yeah.
wrong. Why did they do that?
So yeah, I think
Absolutely.
yeah. Big up to what's his name, Patrick O'Sullivan, Wandering DP.
Wandering DP.
Yeah,
I
coming
know,
up with this, like, I think it's called the framework, like the frame something. It's just like 5 points. If you follow that and you understand it,
Really, I didn't know that.
You can shoot basically. If you can come in a room and you ask you to shoot something, you can make it look nice.
Just
it's
by
like
following these rules.
Yeah, I think it's L of the
Out
room,
shears.
L of the room, big diffusion, big windows, backlight.
Okay.
They have a couple more stuff, but
Yeah.
I think, and when I first watched it, I was like, well, yeah, but this is not specific to whatever. But no, like if you can understand it and understand how you can, use it in your in your advantage when you shoot, then it's always the same thing.
So I mentioned mentors before.
Yeah.
Did you have any mentors when you came up?
I've had people. I'm still on the come up, but I've had people I've asked questions to, but like multiple people, not necessarily just one.
Yeah. You never worked
mentor.
for like a person for a longer time period.
Never.
Where you learned a lot.
And I have people that I consider friends and acquaintances that work in this industry, and I would just discuss with them about like all the potential issues that I have, like problems, questions and stuff, and we would just talk about it. And I find it really interesting because like sometimes I ask the same questions to like more than one person, and I get two different answers.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting because like you start to see how people work,
different
and like
viewpoints.
different, exactly, different point of view, and to get back to what you were saying, nobody got it figured out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it, because like if you can get to the stage where like you have it figured out, then what else
What's
is
the
there
fun?
to what you can't grow from this,
100%.
And I think that's why a lot of people have artistic hobbies, for instance, because the ceiling, the threshold to like where you don't progress anymore, it never stops. You can always do better things, always, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
I guess it might be the same thing with accounting to some extent, but I'm not.
Absolutely.
You're
not into accounting?
No, I'm not really into accounting. But no.
That surprised me.
Yeah. But we're Swiss, so we have this natural tendency to understand money and cows and chocolate and watches. So.
But important not to talk about it.
Well, we don't talk about it. Never, ever talk about money in Switzerland.
Yeah. But do you think mentors will help you? Like, do you wish you had some mentors?
No, I don't wish I had any mentors, but I'm not against. I'm not against. I've never really felt the need for it.
Yeah.
I might have. I think, I've never really felt the need for it. But that's maybe my personality and like how I feel. Like I'm really kind of introvert and like I like being by myself and not really needing other people. So, I don't know. No. And you?
I did a lot of internships.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. It was three times I went in an internship in a bigger production company.
Same company or different?
No, different ones.
Okay.
Each was different.
Yeah.
Which is very cool because I kind of stepped up with each for the size and the size of the project, the size of the company.
Cool.
And I definitely learned a lot from there, but it wasn't like you said. It wasn't like one person that kind of especially. It was like from all of them. Every shoot, I had people learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I wish I had like more like mentors.
Yeah,
people that I kind of looked up to.
What for? What kind? Like, is it more like business advices or
everything? I think in everything you can use mentors a lot.
Yeah,
I think for sometimes when it's too long, the same person, you kind of tend to like just mimic what they do and just
not good.
Take their opinion as like that's what it is. So I think it's good if you don't stay too long with the one person or you have multiple people at the same time, so you get all the different viewpoints. Like you said, you ask 4 different people the same question, you're gonna get 4 different answers, and kind of figure out that's all right and it's all wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like what do I go with? What's my way? And I think it's a good way to figure out what you like, what you want, and what way you want to go.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great convo.
Yeah.
31 minutes. Again, we went past it. We talked too much.
It's okay.
We talked too much.
We used to be too strict with the 29. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's very true.
Now we're easygoing.
We're easygoing.
what do we need to tell people?
Tell people that we're on YouTube and Spotify.
Oh, really?
And we even have an Instagram channel.
We do have. What do you remember the name of the Instagram channel?
I want to say Slap That Slate, but I
it's
might
probably
be wrong.
not. It might probably like
Still,
Clap That Slate. I think.
Clap That sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clap That Slate.
I think it is.
And I think that's the name for all the platforms that we're on.
Yeah, but I think we're also on Amazon Podcast. No,
I think actually someone listened on there.
Jeff.
I think I
Jeffrey.
saw Jeff. It might be Jeff.
Jeffrey from his
No,
yard from Cannes.
Yeah. Give us a feedback.
Give us
on,
feedbacks. We want
Spotify.
feedbacks. Tell us, do you like this podcast, or should we just stop and start an accounting firm? You know, just tell us. We need answers.
Should we crunch the numbers or crunch the podcasts?
I think we should crunch
Comment
the
below.
podcast. Yeah.
And give us feedback on Spotify. Give us a rating on Spotify. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
It helps getting us to cover, because we just realized we had about 2 views or listens on Spotify on the last episode, or like a few episodes back.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's just too cool to watch us on YouTube. Then people don't go.
I
to
think that's
Spotify.
because we're really handsome.
Might be.
Yeah. I wish Spotify would have the video feature for Switzerland. But
Yeah.
no.
Maybe someday.
All right.
But YouTube is cool.
YouTube is dope. I love YouTube.
So we do that.
Yeah.
Like
Subscribe.
and
Hit the bell notification. No, hit the bell so you get notifications when we post stuff.
yeah.
And follow us everywhere.
Every week,
not in
every
the street.
Monday.
Every Monday
we post.
Monday we post.
Maybe at some point that will stop and we'll be more.
That might
More
be Tuesday
flexible.
one day.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday.
But
Yes. BUTT.
yes. Goodbye.